What's up, y'all? And welcome to Enters the Lab. We have football tonight, NFL football tonight. We had a big old splash last week with college football, but the NFL is back, baby. We about to see what these Cowgirls and these Eagles got going on. So come sit down with us before this game because we on the time clock today. I'll
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Enters the Lab podcast for the pre-game special. That's right, it is the week one special of Red Zone in the Lab podcast production of Red Zone DC Media. We are here. We are excited. We are back for NFL football, and we also got a taste of some college football last Saturday. But the gang is all here. We got Lady E with the lovely intro, J Mick, and C. Henry, the OG, on the show. Family, what is going on? We finally here.
We here, baby. We back. We back. Why y'all looking like that? Why y'all looking like that? See, y'all not back. Y'all not back.
We back. It was a little technical difficulty. We back.
Yeah.
I promise you, we back.
Yeah, I mean, been talking about this off season for like 6 months, man. Thank God. I mean, like, thank God we reached this day.
Real ball.
We definitely here, man. We definitely here. But it is such exciting because all them weeks, all them months of preparation, we're finally about to see some real football. The preseason was just a little season on the top, but we about to get to the games that actually matter with the Philadelphia Eagles open up at home to take on the NFC rival, the Dallas Cowboys. But before we even get to the games and stuff, we got to save all the NFL stuff for the latter part. Let's go ahead and recap what would look like an exciting week of college football for the first week. We know we had week 0, but we're talking about some of the big matchups that we had. And look no further, obviously, the trending topic, what would look like so far from the past weekend was number one team Texas at the time took on Ohio State, and then they lost the game 14-7. But all eyes was on Arch Manning. Arch Manning had his third start in college football, but also his first true start on the road against one of the top teams in the country. And there's a lot of sparing opinions going on around about Arch's performance, but we're going to go ahead and break it down here. We're going to start off with you, E, because, and you, J Mick, as well, because you guys are in the SEC frontier with Texas now in that conference. And for years, we've been hearing about Arch Manning this, Arch Manning that, next prodigy, the next guy coming up, number one pick in the draft, best college football player to some people. Some people said that. Best college football player in college football right now. But the performance last week probably left a bad taste to a lot of people who were supporting him. But there's also a thing where, Steve Sarkisian, for his offensive mind, for what he knows he does with quarterbacks, and even with a guy like Quinn Ewers, do we blame this game more on Steve Sarkisian, or do we blame this on just Arch itself?
I ain't gonna blame it on Sarkisian because it's the reason why a lot of people last year wanted, him to start over Ewers because of that. I feel like, again, and I'm just gonna take this back. If anybody knows Nick Saban's coaching tree, we know that Nick, when he's not happy with the performance, he gonna yank you. Us as Georgia fans, we know that. We seen it happen. So he's gonna yank you. I don't think that some people talking about, it's loyalty and different things like that. No, I don't think it was the loyalty. I think they kind of saw what they needed to see from him, and that's why they just wanted to stick with the veteran guy with Ewers and kind of move forward like that. We did see him play a couple of times in a couple of games, and I think a lot of people got happy because of who he played against. He played against UTSA last year, and he played against Mississippi State. If you're a true SEC fan, everybody know Mississippi State is Mississippi State. They have not been good since Dakota Rain decided that he was going to be the quarterback for them. So when it's all said and done, I can tell that Arch has a slow processing time. He's not going through his progressions very well. Now I did see a couple of good balls that he did through. Pause, since y'all want to pause me a lot, but but he did throw a couple of dimes. He did do well on some of his passes, but when it comes down to pressure, when it comes down to that, and then supposedly Matt Patricia watched the Georgia game between us and Texas last year and was kind of using some of our stunts and formations to kind of confuse him a little bit. So, hey, shout out to Georgia, we trendsetters. But at the end of the day, I do believe that it's definitely meant for him to stay one more year because he is going to have to prove himself a little bit. And I do think, and I know people are going to get backlash for this, but I do think that he's going to be cause of some of their losses this year against some top teams, even though they got a little bit of an easy schedule. Again, the schedule is flipped. He does have to come to Georgia. He do have to go to Florida as well. Those are the two that I know at the top of my head right now. But yeah.
I mean, I agree with what you said for the most part. I mean, I'm not gonna put all the blame on Sarkisian. I mean, I do think he could have called some better plays, but at the end of the day, it's his job to call the plays. It's Arch's job to execute the plays.
Mm-hmm.
And just if you watch that game, like he just wasn't accurate at all. Like he was late on some throws. He was throwing the football behind the receivers, throwing at the ground. And I mean, I can't really give him a pass because he was there all year. Like it's not like they changed offensive teams or systems or offensive coaches. It's everything the same. He was there the whole year. So I would have thought that sitting behind Ewers last year, getting a couple stars last year, it would have kind of prepared him for this moment. I get it. I mean, he had to go to the horseshoe. That's a very hard place to play for your first start as the starting quarterback of the team for the season. I get that. But I mean, he just didn't play well. I don't think there's any way you can sugarcoat it. And I just think looking forward into the season, like that defense is going to be good. So I don't think that defense is going to be the reason why they lose games. I think it's going to be, as you saw in that Texas Ohio State game, it's going to be the offense. Like the offensive line is going to be Arch, or it's going to be the wide receivers. Because also the wide receivers, I mean, for all this talking, like in the offseason about, they got all these, four-star guys and this and that, they weren't getting separation. They weren't really that open in that game. So yeah, I mean, just to summarize all that, I mean, for me, like I got to put the blame on Arch because I mean he's the quarterback. I mean, I've been hearing that he's generational. He's going to do this and he's going to do that. And by the way he played last Saturday, I didn't see that happening anyways. But like just watching him play, I mean, it just wasn't a good look.
Yeah.
See Henry.
Yeah, man. To be honest with you, I think Archie, he didn't play well. And I think when you look at it, kudos to that Ohio State defense and Matt Patricia. They put a great game plan together and executed extremely well. I can't put really much of the blame on Sarkisian because the calls that he played, there were plays to be made out there, and Arch just didn't make them. If you're going to put any blame on Sarkisian, it's I blame him for not convincing Quinn Ewers to come back for one more year instead of being a whatever round draft pick he was. He probably could have made more money at Texas and had them out there being a little bit more competitive against the Ohio State boys. But kudos to them. It's still early in the season. Arch still has a long way, to go. And again, this season, you can probably see him progress, as the season goes on. But I think we all have kind of fallen, at least for me, I can speak for myself, fallen a little bit of victim to the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Now we're listening to folks who say that, well, he didn't play the most competitive high school schedule. He didn't go to a lot of the high-level QB camps, coming out of high school. So a lot of people didn't really see him up against some of the top-notch talent. As E pointed out, he didn't really play against some of the top-notch talent in the SEC. He couldn't push Quinn Ewers out of the way for the 2 years that he's been there. So with all that being said, he looked regular. I think the whole generational thing, I think there's some. That's a term that we got to kind of start using, being a little bit more selective when we use it. We got to stop throwing it around. I look at him and what I saw last week, I didn't see anything physically that was like generationally. I didn't see anything mentally that, put him on another, plane or anything like that. Only thing I saw was a last name that's been passed down from generation to generation. And I don't want to diminish him in that, but I think that name alone propped him up a little bit. And we got to be careful, even when we hear from our favorite analysts, sports specialists, if you will.
Personalities.
All these guys. They make mistakes. They miss sometimes. And it happens sometimes. And Arch, I'm not going to say he's a miss, but he isn't quite as good as was billed, I would say.
So, question for the panel, though, and you brought up a good point. How much of the impact of the media when it comes to these particular guys have on when it comes to these sport narratives or these conversations that we have? I mean, like I get it. We understand the last name. Literally the first family of football, Peyton, Archie, his grandfather, Eli, prodigal names in this sport. And for him to have that last name, we already know it holds weight, just like when we talked about last year with Shedeur Sanders. His name holds weight. So how much of the media from guys like Paul Feinbaum, Dan Orlowski, how these guys have, when you have performances like this, do they have an effect when it comes to the narrative?
Paul Feinbaum can kiss my butt. He hurts my nerves.
Propaganda P. He doing a great job for the SEC. He gonna prop him up whenever he needs to.
I'm gonna take a slogan from one of my favorite movies, Undercover Brother, when he said he want to stick his foot in his patootie. That's me. That's what I want to do, because he again, propaganda. He pushes these narratives. In my opinion, he's a Alabama apologist. He always is everything about Alabama. So when it's all said and done, he said, "Hey, I said patootie. Okay, I said patootie. But at the end of the day, I do think that we do put a lot of emphasis on the last names a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. Now you got the up and coming, shout out to Ohio State for getting him. You got Chris Henry's son coming in, and dude can ball. So how much leeway are we going to give? Are we going to put generational talent on him? Are we going to, start rolling out the red carpet because he's Chris Henry's son? We do that a lot. And there's a lot of athlete sons who are coming up and coming through the ranks right now that we're going to possibly see them in the NFL. So when it's all said and done, I think we should stop and wait to see. Because a 2-game sample compared to what we actually saw with him in a full off season ain't giving me nothing. I'm still not seeing nothing. So I think that some of these personalities, some of these sports analysts and everything, I need y'all to stop. Again, we all know everything now in this day and age is all about clicks and different things like that. It's really no true reporting, because if anybody would have said it was like, hey, let's give him about 4 games in and see what we can see. Let's not put it all out here with that, because again, the 2-game sample that we saw, people went off of that and said, oh, look what he did. He dominated. But then when it was really time for him to dominate, he got dominated. Mm-hmm. So I think we just have to really, in a sense, sit back and kind of take a step back when we're thinking about these last names and really actually looking at the production on the field, rather than just automatically crowning them kings because of their last name.
But I also think the problem with the Texas situation in the beginning of the season, like if you look at their schedule, right, they had the Ohio State game, which was a marquee game. You look at the next 3 games, they don't really play anybody. So you're not really going to learn anything new. I think they got like UTEP and Sam Houston State and some other FCS schools. So you're not really going to learn anything until they get in, until they get to SEC play until October. So it's like, my concern with Arch is that they're going to build the hype train up, because they're not going to be playing nobody. The numbers going to be there. He probably going to look good because the competition is not going to be that of an Ohio State or a Bama or a Georgia or like a LSU or even like a South Carolina or a Florida. Like that's not going to be there. And so I think that, the hype train kind of went, downhill a little bit after the Ohio State game. But I think after these 3 games, the hype train is going to start chugging again, and it's about to go back up the mountain again. And because the numbers going to be there. But yeah, that's just how I view it. Like, I'm not going to learn nothing until like they play like Georgia. Like I don't think they play Georgia until like November or something like that. So I'm not
November 15th. Circle.
Yeah, yeah their next biggest game will be October 4th at Florida. Then they play the Red River rivalry, and then they play you guys November 15th, 2 days before.
Yeah.
And they also have Texas A&M.
Yeah, so the Florida game gonna be tough, man, because like I'm pretty certain that's gonna be a night game in the Swamp. Anytime I go to the Swamp at night, it's just not an easy place to play. And I've heard some Texas fans be like, "Oh, well, it's going to Florida ain't nothing." I'm like, bro, like I've been a fan of this conference for a while, especially Georgia. That's my team. And I didn't see Florida when they ain't that good and they got night games in the Swamp and teams go there and they're supposed to win and they don't win. Right. So that's all I'm saying.
Ask Ole Miss. Texas should ask Ole Miss. Matter of fact, ask Jackson Dart.
Yeah, and it happened with the Tennessee like 2 years ago, I think. Like they was a top 10 team, went in there and they thought it was going to win, and they got crushed. So like just because you might not think Florida is as good of a team as like some of the top echelon SEC teams, you still got to go to the Swamp. This is not an easy place to play.
To kind of piggyback, and I don't mean to cut you off, C. I want to let you get yours in, but to kind of piggyback off of that really quickly, no place in the SEC is easy to play. I really want to just put emphasis on that. Unless you're Vandy, but we're not. Even after what Vandy did last year to Alabama, I can't even say that anymore when it comes down to it. But the SEC is a very tough place because we all play each other hard. As you can see, when Georgia played Kentucky last year, it came down to 1 point. So we always play each other hard when it comes down here. So I'm not going to say that, this school, I think it's all hard to play, but I will say the number one place and the toughest place to play in the SEC is freaking Auburn. I don't know what it is about Auburn, but it's Auburn.
I will say this, and I don't want to dog pile on Arch. We're gonna see, and I do agree, Mick. I think after the next 3 games, the hype game picks right back up. We're going to see him in SEC play, and then he's going to have to pass those, next couple of tests. But after this week's games, and I know it's extremely early, but seeing how Alabama played, seeing how Texas played, I know you guys love the SEC. Is there any thought process of a little bit of slippage going on, or is there being a changing of the guard at the top? How do you guys see the SEC going forward?
I'm gonna let the guys.
Georgia's gonna be back up the top. I don't think y'all saw my defense. I don't think y'all saw my defense.
Yeah. I was about to say
Georgia still done won. Okay.
We was atop the conference last year. I expect us to be right there again. I don't expect any slippage.
Yeah.
And personally, like I'm a Georgia fan. Like I'm not a SEC. Like you ain't never gonna catch me cheering for Florida and Bama and all. You're never gonna see me doing that. But I just think like for me and like when I look at the conference, like I just think it's starting to get more leveled out. Like like before, like Bama was dominating for a while, and then we're currently kind of in our run of dominating. But I just think there are like other schools that are trying to come up, and it's just not like he said, it's not an easy conference to be in. Like the wins you get in the conference, you got to earn them wins. You got to go to these places and you got to play extremely well. You don't play well, you're gonna get beat, and that's just what it comes down to. And like kudos to the Big Ten, man. Like they have won the last 2 national championships. I'm not gonna take that away from them. Like like they've done what they're supposed to do. Michigan finally won, and like the Buckeyes after 10 years finally won. But like the thing that's to me about the Big Ten is it just going to be those 2 schools, or are there going to be like other schools like a Penn State or like a Oregon or like a USC that are also going to win as well?
And that's what I think. And that's what I think was made the SEC a little. I'm sorry. Go ahead, DT. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, I'm just trying to jab. We know.
No, he's trolling. I heard what he said.
We got low on him. I'm sorry, but I think that's what makes the SEC a little bit unique, because you did have even between the Georgia and Alabama runs, you did have a Florida run in there, and they had multiple years where they did something. You had LSU step up and do something. You had Auburn pop out, and you have those, you know what I'm saying, periodic pop outs by those other teams. And it's like, okay, now the conference is strong. And then you got Alabama and Georgia doing their thing. And to your point, J. Mick, so far we've seen just really Michigan and Ohio State do their thing. Oregon, which is kind of a surrogate, adopted brother, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
They kind of bring with their resume into the, the mix. But yeah, to your point, we haven't seen any other teams kind of jump out and do that until, so I'm sure me and DT, we don't really care either about if the other teams do it or not. We go blue and, send them other, send them nuts down south, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's interesting. I'm a lot of conversation about the NIL dollars and how they're being spent and how everything is kind of shaking out, and guys no longer having to wait to play at some of the SEC schools, and we're seeing that talent distributed a little bit. Just wanted to know how you guys felt about that.
I mean, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I mean, we're not going to see it spread out with the ACC. We're not even going to talk about them, but we're not going to see it spread out there. But, SEC and the Big Ten.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying. Look, Florida State looked all right. The last time they won their conference, they half a team didn't play. We know that. So again, the U think that they're back. Clemson had a little hiccup, but they get better as the season goes on. So who are we really going to be looking at? Clemson, Florida State, or Miami? Because who else is out of that conference that's going to say something?
Low key, I'm interested to see what SMU does. I know they're not a blue blood, you know what I'm saying, from down the ACC, but I'm interested to see what they do, man. They got a lot of talent down there in Texas, man. A lot of talent that a lot of those other schools besides the big schools in Texas can pick up. And SMU looks kind of nice over there in the ACC.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about the ACC. I think the sleeper school is definitely, SMU. Like, I think a lot of people pick Clemson, like 9% of people's picking Clemson, and I get it. I mean, like, because they're bringing back Cade, and I mean, like, the wide receiver core is supposed to be better. So, I mean, the Clemson pick, I get it, but I think SMU is a real life sleeper in that conference. So I just think you got to be careful about them because, I mean, they could ruin the whole show. I mean, for the conference. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely think they can, but again, we'll see with everything since their schedule, because I think everybody's schedule flipped. Am I correct? Like everybody's schedule just flipped if you played home with some teams and different things. I don't think everybody's schedule has changed, or that's just only the SEC.
I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, I think that's how it works, though. I think I'm not. I mean, for the SEC, that's how it works in our conference, but
we just flipped.
Yeah.
So I think the interesting thing that you guys both bring to this panel is understanding the competitiveness in the small margin of error when it comes to the SEC and how important these games definitely now in October and November and December when it comes to getting into not only the conference championship game, but also trying to sneak in the final spots in the college football playoffs. Whereas, of course, Michigan and Ohio State has won the 2 national championships, but we also see somewhat of a steep down when it comes to the other teams. Like Oregon has the talent, but it's all about them winning when it matters, just like Penn State. And I think it's very interesting that a lot of people are on the Penn State bandwagon because a lot of guys come back next year, very similar to how Michigan and Ohio State has won the last 2 national championships. A lot of veteran experience coming back, wherever it's a solid quarterback in the transfer portal or a returning quarterback. But to me, it's all about James Franklin winning the games that matter. He has not shown to the college football world that he can win when it matters against Michigan. He cannot show wins when it matters when it comes against Ohio State. And those are the 2 biggest obstacles that's still in his way that he has to get the monkey off his back like Steve Young did. So until I see those 2 teams in our conference, and maybe even like I know Indiana had a great year last year, but I'm very curious to see will there be any type of regression with the schedule and stuff like that. I'll probably have to see. And even teams like I'll say I think USC has a talented team, but it's all about trying to put everything on paper. They did have a lot of 1-score games last year, but you got to win these games when it matters. So as of right now, the Big Ten, it's not as deep when it comes to in these terms of these teams and stuff like that when these games that matters.
I don't know. I kind of, I'm going to slightly disagree with you. I think, before, I think that's where the Big Ten, I'm not going to say they shine, but that's where I think they had a little bit more of a conversation point in the argument. There was more depth. Yeah, at top, we don't have an Alabama. We don't have that top dog. We don't have a Georgia. But we got 6 or 7 Tennessee's, Florida. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got those guys, you know what I mean? And now we've seen a little bit of a, you know what I'm saying, of a shift to where we do have those top teams. But I think teams like Illinois, I think, a schools that are that do have the money, who can spend, who are getting these players to not only just come and play football for them, but also put themselves in position to get some of these brand deals. A lot of folks want to be close to a Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And so they can, build up their brand and build up their worth. You know what I mean? Some of these folks are going to have shorter NFL careers, if any NFL careers, and they want to set themselves up. So I can see some of the schools who are in or near some of the bigger markets attracting some of these guys. And again, the incentive of you can play right now. You don't have to wait. You can get paid and play right now. You don't have to wait. I think it's a big, big time incentive for a lot of these kids out there. And we're seeing the talent go everywhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good for college football, man. I mean, like, it's not good to have one team just dominate the whole landscape of college football for a decade. I don't think it's good for the game. And I just think it's better when you have more teams that are winning. Obviously, I want my team to win every year, obviously, but I mean, like, that has not happened the last 2 years. But we've still been a very solid team. So I mean, like, in the in the scheme of things, we did go back to back, but now we're trying to get back there. So I mean, it's like I said, it's good for football.
Back to back sounds so nice. I wish we could.
Speaking,
I know who ain't. No, I know who ain't.
I know who ain't either. Reverse card. Reverse Uno. Oh my God, almost cussed. See how he get me riled up. Speaking of Michigan, the college football game of the week, since everybody is going to be having like basically, little warm-up games, try to get some of these second string, third string games. We have a big game in Norman as Michigan will travel to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. We're going to preview the game right here. C. Henry, did anyone watch Bryce Underwood last week? I was thoroughly impressed with his first game performance playing Saturday night. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Oklahoma tries to gear up against the defense of Michigan and how to attack Michigan's defense as well. I'm also very curious to see Bryce Underwood's first true road game already in his second start. But I will say, honestly, I'm not going to see the same performance that we did with Archie. I think definitely this kid has tremendous amount of talent, even for the first showing we see. So very, very interested to see how he fares at his second career start.
I'm gonna be very tempered, you know what I'm saying, in my excitement about the kid. I don't want to do the Dan Orlovsky and throw the G word out here too fast, but he was definitely poised. We've heard a lot about him. Again, a kid who's 5-star kid, number 1 kid in America, big kid, 6'5", 225 pounds, so physically imposing, and an arm that can make all the throws out there. And we saw a lot of that last week. Again, it was only against New Mexico. So to your point, want to see him against, a big time opponent. In a hostile environment, if you will, on a big stage, going to be a night game. So definitely, looking forward to that game. But again, Big Ten SEC showdown. So to be, a chance for each conference to kind of flex their muscles, if you will. Oklahoma has kind of been a slow and upcoming team in terms of, competing in the SEC. So I'm interested to see what they have to really, really offer. Britt Venables, he came over there with a lot of fanfare, but so far, it's been kind of a slow start. So I think this is a kind of a game where both teams are going to kind of get a chance to show the nation if they're for real or not, early in the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Shout out to them Sooners. If I wasn't a diehard Georgia fan, I would actually like to go ahead and, yell Boomer Sooners. So I support them anyway. But and that's because of Bob Stoops. But yeah, no, I think I really do think that y'all seen I picked them, but I really think that Oklahoma just in the SEC. I think if anything, and if anybody would have told me this when Texas and Oklahoma was coming, I honestly would have gave the nod to Oklahoma to be more on the being able to adapt to the SEC. So I do think that, they are a sleeper team, even though they're not going to be good, but I think they're going to surprise a lot of folks this year. But I did see Michigan play, and I do think that Michigan is up and coming. That's a freshman quarterback y'all have, right, Henry? That dude got paid all that money too.
18 years old, $10 million.
Yeah, $10 million.
Stay away from young lady. Stay away from young lady. Stay away from the grown ladies. Stay away from the grown ladies.
Look. First of all, I don't even want that $10 million, and he's still gonna act childish. So
not you. But you see Miss Renner out here. You see Miss Renner.
We're not gonna talk about that.
Don't act like it don't exist. Don't act like it don't exist. It's a new market.
It do exist.
The Cougars are attacking. Right.
It is, but no. Real talk though. He played like. But no, he did play like $10 million. I would definitely give him that. That was a good pickup for Michigan to bring him in. So let's see what Michigan can do going down the line. Let's see if they can make it 5 years in a row this season. But I definitely do think that this game can come down to the wire, to be honest with you, because I don't think Oklahoma's going to go out quiet. So I did pick them sooner. Shout out to Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like when I looked at the game, I was gonna pick Michigan at first, and then I had to go into my little like sports book, and I seen, well, they're not even favored, and so I did some more research, and so I kind of had to go to OU. I mean, I just think like they should like that team last year, like they had a quarterback that just wasn't good. And I think the kid's name for OU was like Mateer. I mean, he had a really good week last week. Like, I didn't catch the Michigan game last week, but I mean, from people I know, they tell me that you're gonna be like Bryce had a good game.
The sports book time with you, J Man.
I mean, I didn't know who the favorite was for the game. I really had to look at it. So once I looked at it, I was like, so I mean, let me dig deeper into this game, to this matchup. I mean, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan won the game. Like, I think it's going to be a close game. I think the line was like 6 or something. I think this is like a field goal type of game. Like, I think like the defenses can, have the chance to really control this game. But you also have two really good quarterbacks. I mean, you got the kid in Michigan, Bryce, who, like I said, I didn't watch the Michigan game last week, but I mean, for what I'm hearing, like he had a really good game. And the Mateer had a good game last week too. So I'm looking forward to that matchup.
Yeah, I want to see what our defense can do against Mateer. I think we have a very, very, very experienced front seven. Now, the Jason Barnum, I don't know if you guys saw that last week. He got called for a targeting penalty, so he's going to miss the first half of this game. That could be a very, very pivotal loss for this game. But with that being said, the secondary looked a little shaky. So I don't know who's going to be at our corners for us. I know Jair Hill is going to be at one. So if Oklahoma can attack us through the air at the cornerback position, that may be a way for him to have some success. But I think that we can get pressure on the quarterback, and I think we can shake him up a little bit. And it wouldn't surprise me, again, as 5.5 point underdogs, it wouldn't surprise me if Michigan wins this game by maybe more than one score on the road. Alma mater of Sharon Moore. So he's going to be hyped up for this game. And again, the SEC Big Ten battle. So yeah, I'm hyped, man. 7:30, yes, Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, so I'm on that wagon too. I think I got Michigan winning this game.
Might be our northern bias. It might be our northern bias, DG.
No, it's not northern bias. It's not northern bias. Not blue bias either. I just think the front seven is very experienced. A lot of guys were able to get playing time and stuff last year. We know what Donadell does with his defensive fronts. I'm interested to see that chess match with the offense of Oklahoma against that defense and how they're going to throw sky coverages and stuff like that. I think I'll probably lean on the defense a little bit more. I also think the run game for Michigan will be a key factor. Justin Haynes had an exciting week for you guys last week. I think he's going to be in for a big game as well.
Yeah, he had a great game. Great game last week.
Mhm.
Oklahoma's defense. Tell me a little bit about them, though. I mean, I know Venables, that was kind of his calling card at Clemson, but how have they been over the last couple of
So
seasons?
the interesting thing is like their defense was a top 30 defense last year in the
Yeah.
country, but
Yeah, it was.
Jackson Arnold at quarterback, they had a bunch of injuries at the wide receiver spot. So the defense was on the field way more than the offense was. So they kind of got worn down during like somewhere in the middle of the season. But they did lose Danny Stutzman. We did a draft episode on him. Valuable veteran at that linebacker position. They have a couple of transfers in. So I watched a little bit of the Oklahoma game against Illinois State. Um, they still have a couple of young cats to keep your eye on, especially on the defensive front. But I'm interested, with the trenches battle, O line versus D line, how each are going to hand it up. I think obviously, look at games like this. Whoever wins the trench battle, I would probably lean on winning the game.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get the round up because look, we all know
NFL time.
the NFL is back tonight. And we're going to go through these three games. But before we even get to these three games, we're going to talk about this game right here. Philadelphia and the Dallas Cowboys. Literally a week after Micah Parsons get traded to the Green Bay Packers, you're going to have the Dallas Cowboys fielding this new look team under Brian Schottenheimer taking on defending Super Bowl champs. Guys, what is our feel about this game? For the Cowboys side and also for Philadelphia side, who do you think has the most pressure to come out swinging tonight?
Ooh, I'll be honest with you. I'm really gonna say both. I'm not gonna pick one or the other because the Cowboys have pressure because what are their defenses gonna look like without him, without Parsons being on that side, and what is Dak gonna look like? Also throwing to CeeDee Lamb, but also throwing to Pickens, and what is their run game gonna look like too? I forgot almost about that too. So you got a lot of factors going on with Dallas, and I think with the Eagles because when you kind of look at it and you see that, Dallas, I'm not going to say Dallas is depleted, but they have a lot of question marks over there. You're going to expect the Eagles to come in as Super Bowl champs to come in and legitimately continue on their run that they did last season. So if we don't get, Saquon doing Saquon-ish things, it's going to be a question mark. If we don't get the wide receivers doing, matter of fact, their defense. If their defense with them Georgia dogs on there, if they don't come out looking the way that they're supposed to be looking, then what is that question going to be? So I do feel like both of them have a lot of pressure to see who's going to be the dominant one, and that just can already set y'all up for who y'all got to sit over here and beat to win the conference.
I mean, for me, like whenever I look at these the opening night games, obviously it's the team that won the championship versus another team that most of the time was not in the Super Bowl with the Super Bowl winning team. I always say that the pressure is on the team that won the Super Bowl. Because like you're raising the banner up, you're celebrating your championship, your mind is on a lot of different things, but you're trying to start your season off on the right foot. And I mean, if you look at it, like there was a time when the Super Bowl champions would always win this game. But if you look at over the last like 5 to 6 years, that has not been the case. So I mean, like I believe when the Chiefs played the Lions, like the Chiefs lost. And then when the Rams played the Bills, the Rams got blasted in that game. They lost. And then I think when the Patriots had won, was it in 18? Then next year when I think we played the Chiefs or some team and we lost. So it's just that situation where like I think the pressure's always on the home team, because the fans are everybody's celebrating, and sometimes your mind might not be 100% on the game sometimes, but with this being like a division rival, I think the Eagles should be okay. I mean, I got the Eagles in this game though.
Yeah, I think pressure-wise, probably the pressure is on Dallas to have the best showing, to have a good showing, quality showing. But do they win the game? I don't think so. I think Philadelphia definitely is breaking in a lot of young players. But with that being said, they're still going to be, I think, riding on the high horse and on a mission. Everybody seems like they're on a mission to try to win the second ring. And I think that the stage is going to be a little bit, too bright for Dallas tonight.
Yeah. Looking at this game, there are some questions with the Eagles in terms of the defense of some of the guys that they lost, like a Milton Williams, some of the veteran corner help like a Darius Slay. Be interested to see how they this retool secondary looks going up against a healthy Dak Prescott with the likes of CeeDee Lamb and a George Pickens who's making his debut tonight. How that combination is going to be against the secondary, but also we know obviously with the star in the helmet. A lot of people are always going to be trying to see how Dallas looks. A lot of questions about Dallas right now, whether it's just run game, offensive line health, obvious questions about Dak Prescott. Is he can he break that curse that he's been instilled when it comes to the playoffs? Lots of questions. Philly should win this game, but I also think it's something about just the unexpected in the NFL. I would not be shocked if this game has some type of fight in it somewhere around the first couple of quarters, but then maybe Philly pulls away.
Yes, NFC East game. And again, though, this is a game that it's early in the season, but every game counts in the NFL, and this is a conference, a rivalry game. You know what I'm saying? Divisional rivalry game. So with that being said, somebody gets the leg up this week. So big time game, man. Big time game.
Big time game it is. Kickoff is 8 o'clock, but more like it's going to be around like 8:15, 8:20, as J Ming mentioned. But we're going to go ahead to these top 3 games of the week we're going to be doing this season, or we're going to go in calendar order. Friday night, we got Kansas City playing the Chargers in Brazil. We get another Brazil game. This time, this game is going to be on YouTube for free. So, Jim Harbaugh. Is it Jim Harbaugh? Yeah, it is Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Always get confused. Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, year 2. Patrick Mahomes coming off the Super Bowl loss. Going to be an interesting matchup. We know how close the Chargers always play Kansas City at times. The Chargers had some big changes this offseason, adding with running backs, adding more talent in the wide receiver room. But is that going to be enough to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs? Me personally, it might be. I just don't think they get them this week. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to steal a game in Brazil against the Los Angeles Chargers.
I'll kind of get backlash if I don't say anything from the Chiefs because shout out to my Jody Bear. But yeah, I'll get some backlash if I don't pick them. So I'm going to Chiefs, but no, I like Andy Reid, and I do like this matchup. We all know the Chiefs and the Chargers, they play hard against one another. Again, hopefully that field is better than what they had it last year with the Packers and the Eagles, because that was terrible. But other than that, yeah, give me the Chiefs. I think they start their season off a little bit better this year. They had a disappointing run with the Super Bowl, and I think their eyes are to get back again. So, yeah, shout out to Christian Jones as well. That's my favorite D lineman.
It's like the Chiefs and the Chargers is like the best way I can explain. Like I want to pick the like it's like you can see a matchup and you want to pick a team, but that team ain't gonna win. That's kind of what it's like you want to pick the Chargers, but they ain't gonna win. So why would I do that to myself? So I got until the Chargers can actually beat the Chiefs, I gotta go with the Chiefs. These games tend to be 3 or 4 point games all the time, and it always comes down to Herbert in the fourth. And I'm not saying he's a choker, but there's been times in these Chief Charger games where he has the ball, they're down by 3 or 4, and it just doesn't come through for them. And also like the Chiefs are still kind of going by that Super Bowl blowout loss that they took, and I think they're going to be motivated. Like I think they showed you in the preseason that they're a really motivated bunch. I mean, Rashid Rice not going to be there for the first 6 weeks, but they got other weapons on the outside. And until the Chargers kind of show me that they can beat the Chiefs, I just got to go with the Chiefs.
Interesting. I really feel like if you're going to get the Chiefs, the best time to get them is early in the season where they're still trying to put some things together. I also look at the Rashee Rice situation, a situation where initially people thought that he was going to play first 3 or 4 games and then possibly be disciplined. So he was practicing and things with the team, practicing and all that with the team. Now, all of a sudden, within just basically 10 days, they're going to have to adjust to playing without him. I think that can definitely have somewhat of an impact on their effectiveness and their efficiency offensively. With all that being said, though, I agree with J Mick. I want to pick the Chargers. I want to go with Jimbo. I love the Chargers. I love LT, and I love that. I love the color scheme they got going on. I just love it. But with all that being said, though, I just don't think that they're going to do it. I don't know. Some way, somehow, Pat Mahomes is going to make a play, man. So, yeah, Chiefs it is, man. I guess I can't lose no ground if we all pick the Chiefs.
All right, we're going to record it. We're all going to Chiefs. The next game on Sunday, we will have C. Henry, your Detroit Lions, taking on the Green Bay Packers NFC North rivalry. Micah Parsons is now going to be chasing Jared Goff and this high-powered Detroit Lions offense. I did a preview on my podcast the other day, and I was kind of bouncing back and forth with this matchup. And the one thing that still sticks out to me is about this corner room for the Green Bay Packers. I understand the need of getting a Micah Parsons and to match up with Rashawn Gary, but still, I think a lot of people are, the questions about 2 new coordinators and things like changes and stuff with Detroit Lions. I still have to see it when it comes to the Packers. The Packers have to be a little bit more consistent for me. I know it's the start of the season. They can get them, but I'm still going to lean with the Detroit Lions. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams are going to have some lunch money being paid off. Somebody's kid is going to be disappointed when their daddy get burned on Sunday. I'm going to take Detroit Lions to win on Sunday.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I like the NFC North. I love their little rivals.
Interesting division this year.
Very interesting division this year. I know it's funny because I was just having this conversation with my manager, and he was talking about how he just was never a Jordan Love fan. He was like, he's okay. He just never impressed him. And last season, I mean, we saw some up and down, some little things with them and with the team. I know they lost a couple of people on their corners. On their cornerbacks and with their DBs. So I do have a little bit of question marks. I mean, they did bolster up their defensive line, let alone with their pass rush, adding Parsons. But I'm going to go with the Lions. But the reason why I just don't, again, Jordan Love showed a lot of inconsistency for me. And even when he did play well last year in Brazil, I blame the field. He did get injured, but he didn't look great last year when it came down the first game. So the only question mark that I do have for the Lions is really kind of how they look going into this season without having Ben Johnson. Are we going to get the same Goff? I do like their wide receiver core -1. His name is Dominic Lovett. So I don't expect to see him on the field like that. But defense, Hutchinson's coming back. Can't wait to see him back and play. Can't wait to see Branch play. They have it. We just need them to get over that hump. But I do want to see are we going to get the same Goff moving in with this new offensive coordinator? That's all my question mark that I have for them. But I'm definitely still going Lions with that.
For me, when I look at this matchup, because I've been hearing all season, like the Lions lost all these coaches, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, man, the talent is still the talent. And the Lions are still one of the most talented teams in the NFL, no matter how many coaches, whether it's 6, 7, 8 coaches left. And I get the impact that coaches have. But like, you know, I mean, you still got a David Montgomery, you still got a Jahmyr Gibbs, you still got a St. Brown, you still got a J-Mo, you still got a Sam Laporte. Like, literally, I could keep going. Like, there's more names that I could mention. I can keep going. And like when you have all those weapons, to me, and like the Lions built their team in the trenches as well on the offensive side and the defensive side, and they're always drafting more offensive linemen and defensive linemen to reinforce them trenches. And then like when I look at the Packers, like I do like the Packers trenches as well, even though they traded away Kenny Clark, who was a big run stopper for them. And that's going to hurt a little bit, but I mean they got Micah instead. But I mean, when I look at the game and like it's kind of what's been said before, I don't trust the Green Bay cornerbacks at all. I just don't trust them. And I mean, with the kind of weapons that the Lions have and the kind of offensive line, and the Lions are going to run the ball and they're going to try to stop the run. And I just think it's a tough spot for the Packers, man. I mean, because I mean the Lions are also coming off that tough divisional loss that they had, and I just think they're going to be ready to go. And I just think the Lions are going to win this game.
All right, we're all going for the Detroit Lions in this matchup. In the final matchup of our new edition of the Interest Lab podcast, Games of the Week, we have the Sunday night cap between the Baltimore Ravens trying to get revenge from that divisional loss against the Buffalo Bills. So, J. Mick, you know, you're in that same division, AFC East. What do you think about this matchup?
Man, I would love to predict the Bills' loss now. That's something I love to do. You know, I love to do that. But I just don't see it, man. Like the Bills are one of the hardest teams to play in Buffalo. I mean, like on the road. Like when they're in Buffalo, they didn't lose a home game last year. I think they went something like 10-0 at home or something like that. It was like 10 or 11-0 or something like that. So they're a very difficult team to beat there. And I think like from what I heard today, Shakir practiced in full, so he should be good to go. I think he had a high ankle sprain about a month ago. For the Ravens, I don't think Likely is going to play because he had that surgery on his ankle, so I don't think he's going to be quite ready for this game. And I think that's actually a big loss for them because I think Likely is going to have a really good season this year. Like I would expect him to put up some good numbers, and I think this might be the last year for Mark Andrews in Baltimore. I think. So I mean, looking at that, I mean, like the Bills reinforced the defense through the draft. They drafted 2 or 3 D tackles. They drafted 3 corners. So they're trying to reinforce their defense because offensively, I mean, it's Josh Allen and James Cook. I mean, like them two are going to put in work, and I mean, Josh going to make people better. And then they also have one of the best offensive lines in football. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a very nip and tuck kind of game. And I think it's going to come down to the field goal kickers. And unfortunately for the Ravens, they got a new field goal kicker. So I think that might be
Lady E, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I'm trying to think because this one is a tough one for me. When it comes down to it, because again, I definitely I do agree with J Mick this because he was actually in a Ravens and Bills space earlier, and he was even saying, he was like, no, this rivalry is real. It gets real over here. So I y'all know I don't like the Bills. We didn't have this conversation, J Mick. I'm just gonna welcome you to it. I do not like the Bills. Yeah, I don't like the Bills at all. But when it's all said and done, with this, again, the Ravens have somebody that a lot of people kind of, in a sense, they don't really look. They have Todd Monken, okay? And I love what Todd Monken has done with Lamar over the course of the years, made him a passer, also helped him, balance out with his run game, using tight ends, using wide receivers. Offense is clicking and churning and running. And the Ravens defense is the Ravens defense. It has been one of those defenses over the past couple of years that we just kind of be like, hey, the Ravens is always going to have a defense, to be honest. So, but you can't sleep on Josh Allen. I hate to say it. You can't sleep on him. They re-signed Cook this offseason as well. That's pretty much their whole entire offense, in my honest opinion. I'm still questioning about their defense. I know y'all were talking about that, but I still kind of question their defense just a tad. I'm not sold just yet. So I'm definitely going to give this one to the Ravens. Going with B Moore. Shout out to B Moore. So I definitely am going to go with them. I don't know. That's how they say it, don't they?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, one more time.
Don't they go be more? Like, okay, never mind. Look, I said I need to stay away from the East Coast then because I don't know nothing. I don't know not a soul. Y'all know, especially my
Look at Slim, yo.
Look, I'm Southern, so leave it at that. I'm a Southern girl.
C. Henry, your thoughts on this matchup?
Man, this is complete possibly an AFC Championship matchup
preview
here, man. Preview, if you will, man. So I'm torn. I didn't know that they went 10-0 last year at home. I am a little bit worried because I did hear that Keon Coleman is dealing with some type of injury, maybe a groin injury of some sort. He may not be able to go this week. They did grab Gabe Davis, sign him to the practice squad. I'm a Lamar fan, and I'm hoping that Lamar, man, can, put it together. I feel like this is the best receiving core that he's probably dealing with. I think Zay Flowers takes a little bit of a step this year. I like Bateman. I think D-Hop, brings a veteran presence and is, performing as their number 3 receiver over there. Likely is out, but he do have Andrews over there. I think the Ravens, man. I think the Ravens can, go in here and maybe, pull off an upset on the road early in the season.
All righty. I'm kind of like everybody in this, like J-Mick and Lady E. I was very torn about this when I had to pick on my show. Looking at the overall team and the talent. Just Buffalo is definitely a hard place to play, especially last year in the snow. And we also saw last year with Lamar the miscues and some of the things the Ravens were doing which led to them losing by 2 points. I think it's a revenge tour. I think Lamar Jackson, this offense is going to be prime and ready to take on this Bills defense, and I think this the Ravens defense will do enough to stop the likes of Josh Allen. I think it's going to be a very close game. These games always come down to the wire, especially in the fourth quarter, late at night. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to start the week off 1-0 against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
And you know what that means? If we beat the Raiders, then that means we in first place. That's what
I was gonna say.
That's what that means. I'm just saying.
You say, man, 3 days be damn. We in first place, baby.
I have every intention on beating the Raiders, man. I have every intention of winning that game.
Okay, so it looked like the game is definitely getting ready to start. Oh man, every single person chose the Eagles. That is absolutely hilarious.
That's a death wish right there, man. I'm just
before we leave, listen, I gotta pray for my fantasy football team, man. Listen, Dak.
You do need to pray because I guarantee you were doing it while you're on this pod.
You understand? Listen, dog. Listen, hey, health, wealth, and 2 touchdowns. That's what we need tonight. Health, wealth, and 2 touchdowns, baby. Let them know that you elite. Okay, that's what we need. That's all.
All right, real quick before we go, because the game is about to get ready to start. Lady E and J Mick, since we already done what we think for the Lions, your Falcons play the Buccaneers. Who do you got? What's the score?
I'm going for the home team. Already with that, and I'm going to go 24-17.
How many touchdowns Bijan get real quick?
I just took the number 1 in my fantasy league yesterday.
Yeah, see, first I don't know why you did that.
It wasn't me. It was my coach.
I got him at 4 myself. So hey, listen. Hey, listen. I'm a Bijan fan.
I would take him 4. But no, I do think Bijan probably get about 2 touchdowns. I definitely will give him. Yeah. I'll give him about 2 touchdowns.
Manifested then.
All right, J Mick. New England Patriots take on the Oakland. Oh, God, I keep saying Oakland. I miss Oakland. Take on the Raiders. What's your final score?
Man, I got Patriots 28 and I got the Raiders 24.
All righty. We play the New York Giants coming to Northwest Stadium. Give me my Washington Commanders in a nail biter 27-20.
What's up?
You said a nail biter.
Oh yeah, they gonna play us tough. NFC East. They Giants get ready for the Commanders now. They get
man,
the
I thought
blood
you said
for
you're gonna beat him
Commanders.
by 2 touchdowns or something. I mean, that's what I was getting prepared for. But
It's gonna be a nail biter. It's gonna be a nail biter. I know the Giants. I know the Blue people. I have to be very real and unbiased. I think that defensive line has tremendously improved, but I think we're gonna do just enough in the second half adjustments against the defensive line. But look, we're about to get ready to watch this game. Next week, we're gonna get 3 new games and possibly a couple more college football games to look at for next week. It's your favorite crew on the Red Zone DC Media. It's your boy DT, Lady E, C. Henry, and J. Mick. We got y'all coming next week. This is Enters the Lab podcast presented by Red Zone DC Media. We'll see y'all next time.